The Last of Us Episode 6 just premiered on HBO, and following the emotional gut punch that was the ending of the previous episode, I wanted to know how they were going to take these characters out of that tragic event, if there would be similarities to the game and how much they would diverge from the game's path. But I'm trying to remove my mind from the game as much as possible. There are aspects of the game that I have forgotten. It's been many years since I've played the first one, and so I've kind of enjoyed that because as I've watched the show, I have found myself wanting to go back and play the game again. And I picked up the PS5 remaster, but I'm going to wait until the end of season 1 to play the game again because I'm kind of enjoying the fact that there are certain things I have forgotten about, and the show reminds me, oh, that's right. But it's nice to kind of feel like I'm still discovering things, even though there are obviously things that I very clearly remember. One of them, of course, being the ending of the game, which if you haven't played the game, I won't ruin for you. If you're just watching this kind of episode by episode with me as a newcomer, I won't talk about it. But one of the things that did concern me is that there are only a handful of episodes left. And I know how the game ends, and so I wanted to know how they were going to get the characters into a place where that ending still made sense and worked. This episode opening with a 3-month time jump is very smart because we now know that Joel and Ellie have experienced things that we haven't necessarily seen. Their dynamic is similar, but you can tell that it's matured a bit. And I think that's going to help get these characters to a place where the ending of the game, if the show decides to maintain that ending, happens and works. But this episode does even more than, say, episode 4 to continue to strengthen the dynamic between Joel and Ellie and their relationship in ways that Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey communicated so eloquently. These two actors are truly forces of nature. Like, I honestly think Pedro Pascal can do just about anything. If you look at his most famous roles, but also all the side characters he would play in small bit parts over the years, then something like Mandalorian, where you don't even see his face, and how much he gives to that. He's truly a talent to be reckoned with, and this episode, I think, features his best performance in the show that I've seen so far. When he's finally reunited with his brother, he has a very heartfelt conversation with him in private, where he finally unloads all of this emotion that he's been bottling up, and you really see a side of Joel and Pedro Pascal as an actor that I've never seen. I think this episode alone could garner him an Emmy nomination, and this is before the potential emotional outbursts that will continue to happen throughout the rest of the show. But this episode in particular, he truly blew me away as a performer, and so did Bella Ramsey, because this episode forces Joel and Ellie to come to a place where Joel cares about her enough to say that I think you would be better off going forward with my brother because I'm old and I'm dealing with a lot of health issues, and physically I am just fucking tired, and my brother is in better shape than me to do this, and he's going to protect you. So just the fact that Joel is already thinking that way about her, he's not thinking as much about the reward. He's putting her before that now. And you can see in Ellie's eyes when he even suggests the idea of separation that she doesn't want to deal with that. And she has this beautiful outburst about how everyone has always abandoned her, whether it was her parents or friends. And she too is going to secure an Emmy nomination. If both of them don't, that's gonna be fucking stupid, man. But let's talk about the episode a little more chronologically. I loved the opening sequence with Greene and the argument that ensues there. I thought that was really funny, incredibly well written. Mazin, again, just outdoing himself. But they eventually stumble across this living, breathing town where he finds Tommy alive and well. Very well, in fact. They have movies. They project movies for audiences. And they have sheep, which allows Ellie to make fun of Joel's eventual goal of owning a sheep ranch. This seems like a place where they could truly settle down. And here, one of the most important things is that Ellie learns that Joel once had a daughter who is no longer alive, which allows her to feel a little closer to him and understand why he is so guarded. But what this show is doing so well, especially this episode, is just communicating how there are still different pockets of people who are trying to reestablish some form of society. And the best ways that they can do that moving forward. And that to do that, you kind of have to present yourself as villains because they all surround them on horseback with guns. They have a dog that if it smells infection on you, it's just going to tear you up and they'll shoot you. And Graham Greene and his wife both view those people as the enemy. And that's simply because they have to present themselves that way to maintain some form of order behind their walls. Otherwise, the world's not going to restart ever. Joel giving Ellie the opportunity to choose who she goes with, his brother or him, and how instantaneous she makes that choice got a huge laugh out of me and my friend who watched it with me. And it just continues to develop this very father-daughter relationship that is so sweet and so well realized between these two performers and the script. I love the characters in the games, but I am finding myself more connected emotionally with this version of Joel and Ellie in the show. I don't know why exactly. I think the games are fantastic, but these two actors are so incredible, and I just can't sing them enough praises. So Joel and Ellie continue on a search for the Fireflies, and they stumble across this abandoned building where they are attacked, and Joel is injured severely, and the episode ends on a massive cliffhanger with Ellie trying to wake Joel up. And we don't know what's going to happen. If you play the game, you have some idea perhaps, but who knows? They could switch things around. It's the fun, exciting thing about this show is that when they do make changes, I always really love them. You know, I feel like I'm repeating myself week after week, but it's the best thing to ever repeat yourself about, that you genuinely love something. And I'm just so glad that this show is turning out as good as it is. And each episode continues to build upon the last in really interesting ways. And the characters are coming to life constantly and so well realized by Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Very excited for episode 7. I hope you guys are too. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you so much as always for watching. And please do check out my podcast, the pre-production podcast that I started. I've got 3 episodes up right now. I've got a lot of other interviews that I've already recorded, and I can't wait to share them with you with some really exciting guests. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.